What if we could give the ancient rabbis who compiled the Talmud a glimpse of today's cosmic science? Would it change how they saw the purpose of mankind? 2,000 years ago, they didn't have the tools to observe the vastness of our universe. How could they have conceived of something so mind-bendingly huge, or imagined an unimaginable number of stars? Surely, they could never have pictured a universe much bigger than the few thousand stars visible to the naked eye on a dark night. So, the answer seems obvious. If only they had known the true scale of the universe, the sheer number of places it holds, then, of course, they'd have to rethink everything they thought they knew about the importance of humanity. Just a glimpse through a telescope, and mankind's place in the cosmos would be radically diminished. But before we jump to conclusions, maybe we should pause and ask, what does the size of our universe really say about our place in it? In a 1995 interview with Dennis Prager, Carl Sagan made the case for the prosecution.
Without humanity, I don't think there's a point to the universe.
Let me now argue about that. Wait. A lot of people like that idea, right? It's satisfying.
No,
wait. Let me make a remark. It's satisfying. We're at the center. We're important. We're the reason the universe was made. Feels good, right? Now, let's think of where we are. We live on a tiny world in a solar system which has about 70 or 80 big worlds going around the sun, which is an obscure star in an obscure spiral arm of a humdrum galaxy that contains 400 billion stars, and this Milky Way galaxy is one of about 100 billion galaxies. Now imagine that number of places, and in this obscure galaxy, in that tiny star, that little planet, those guys think they're the center of the universe. It's hilarious.
Professor Sagan's case seems hard to argue with. After all, look at the numbers. Earth is just a pale blue dot orbiting one of 10 sextillion stars. These countless worlds inhabit a universe that has been expanding for billions of years. How could we possibly matter in all of this? Had the rabbis been able to conceive of such a vast number of places, surely they would have thought twice about devoting their lives to the details of daily living. They would have seen our lives as just a flicker in the vastness of time and space. And, without any real meaning, why bother striving for ethical excellence? Better to enjoy ourselves in the here and now, to get while the getting's good. After all, our dreams, our struggles, they're barely even a whisper in the cold, vast, cosmic silence. But maybe size isn't the whole story. Our value isn't measured by how much real estate we take up. Humanity's worth lies not in our scale, but in our capacity for love, for reason, for meaning, for goodness. Not even a universe filled with 1 trillion stars can erase that. Can it? Still, sometimes it sure feels like our tininess and the vastness of the universe is a knockout blow to the notion that anything we do has any meaning at all. When I first saw that interview back in 1995, I brought it to the rabbi I had recently befriended, Rabbi Simon. He asked a question that I couldn't answer. What would be different if the universe was small? God still created something out of nothing, and that was the real miracle. Fair enough. Creating something out of nothing is indeed a miracle. An excellent point he made. In ancient times, our Torah, our rabbis tell us exactly that God created something out of nothing. But did they really realize just how much something God created out of nothing? I couldn't imagine that they did. So, why turn to ancient texts written by men who had no idea just how insignificant humanity is in the vastness of space and time? I certainly wanted it to be true that our lives have meaning. The question stayed with me in the back of my mind until I encountered the Talmud. In that vast treasure trove of wisdom, I found the answer to my question. and I found it in the very first volume. Remember what Professor Sagan said about the number of places?
Imagine that number of places.
Well, here's what the Talmud has to say about the number of places in creation. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to Israel, "My daughter, I created 12 constellations in the firmament, and for each and every constellation I have created 30 armies. And for each and every army I have created 30 legions, and for each and every legion I have created 30 infantry division leaders. And for each and every infantry division leader I have created 30 military camp leaders. And for each and every military camp leader I have created 30 leaders of forts. And for each and every leader of a fort I have hung 365,000 myriads of stars, corresponding to the days of the solar year. And all of them I have created only for your sake." Even if they weren't describing pulsars or quasars or white dwarfs, what they were describing is a number of places, a vast, almost unimaginable number of places. So let's do the math. For each constellation, there are 30 armies times 30 legions, giving us 900 legions. 900 legions times 30 infantry leaders gives us 27,000 infantry leaders. 27,000 infantry leaders times 30 military camp leaders gives us 810,000 military camp leaders. 810,000 military camp leaders times 30 fort leaders gives us 24,300,000 fort leaders. 24,300,000 fort leaders times 365,000 myriads of stars. Well, a myriad is 10,000. So we multiply that number by 3,650,000,000 stars, giving us 88.695 quintillion stars per constellation. Multiply it by the 12 constellations and we get 1.064 sextillion stars. Modern astronomers calculate that there are around 10 sextillion stars in the universe. The Talmud's calculation that there is 1 sextillion is only around 1 order of magnitude less than the modern estimate. Now, I'm not saying that the Talmud anticipated modern astronomy. Maybe the details of astronomy were revealed to our rabbis. I won't say that didn't happen, but I'm not going to argue here that the ancients knew modern astronomy. It's a difficult argument to make, and it's irrelevant here. They likely didn't know about gravity or elliptical orbits or stellar composition or the star's fusion-powered cores. But Sagan's argument wasn't about any of that. His argument was about a number, plain and simple.
Imagine that number of places.
His claim is that once you grasp how many places exist, the idea that any one of them is important becomes absurd. But the rabbis did imagine a universe that big. They didn't do it so I could drop the mic on Carl Sagan. That part's just a bonus. They didn't do it to answer the challenge posed by modern astronomy. This was written thousands of years ago to teach us important spiritual truths about our universe and our place in it, and how precious our lives are to our Creator who made it all. They didn't know this stuff by scientific observation. They didn't even have the tools for that. But through spiritual insight and logical reasoning, they assumed a scale of creation only 1 order of magnitude off from what we know today. Now, I did say that they were off in their calculation by an order of magnitude. Is that order of magnitude important? Well, the thing about numbers the size we're dealing with is that you can't really imagine them, not in any meaningful way. To illustrate, picture each star of the 1.064 sextillion stars described in the Talmud as a millimeter on a ruler. How long would it take you to travel that many millimeters? Well, if you traveled that distance at the speed of light, it would take you 112.5 years to finish. The difference between that number and 10 sextillion is trivial in this case, because we can't comprehend either number. And even so, a universe of that many stars didn't trouble our rabbis. The number to them was a given, and it supported their conclusion that mankind, tiny, fleeting, seemingly insignificant, still matters. That we matter, not despite the cosmic scale, but precisely within it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos on how ancient wisdom can guide us through the modern world. Leave a comment below.